What's up, guys? We are back at the turbo tent. If you're new to the channel here, this is my '89 Camaro. It's an IROC-Z, and it's got a built LS stroker, 403 cubic inch, and 88 millimeter turbo. Recently blew the motor, rebuilt it, and now I'm just working out the bugs, which there's been a lot of them. So where we left off last time, I was working out some bugs. The alternator had oil in the turbo, a bunch of stuff. I got most of that stuff lined out. Hold on, let me turn you guys around. Yeah, I got most of that stuff lined out. Replaced the alternator. I got my oil restrictor. That's this guy right here. It's 75 thousandths. I was having oil in the compressor. I still haven't done the intake manifold. I do a lot of stuff here, but bigger stuff I like to do at my brother's house, just because this is just a little carport tent, and it's just easier to work. He's got a garage and tools, and just easier to work on. Where I'm at now, I started tuning, laying into the throttle a little bit, and it's been a disaster, to be honest with you. I'll show you guys on the data log quick. Okay, here's the data log, and forgive me, I'm still learning how to use this, but I got a slight handle on it, I think. So what I do is I'll look at throttle position, which is this green. So that's going to be the green line over here, and I'll click and basically look at once I hit 100%. That's when I was floored. There we go. Yeah, it went pretty fast there. But yeah, 100% throttle. Start laying into it. And then we have KPA. I also have boost down here. So we're at 2 pounds of boost. 70 degrees of intake temperature. Duty cycle on the injectors. Ignition timing. Oil pressure. Here's your actual air-fuel ratio. And here's the target air-fuel ratio. So as you can see, this is the closed loop compensation. So that's what it's doing to try to achieve the target. So it's doing work. It's pulling fuel. It was too rich. Yeah. So as we scroll along here, you'll see. Look at one thing. Look at fuel pressure. That's one thing that was a red flag right away. Fuel pressure should not be dropping like that. I have a 1-to-1 boost reference, so as boost increases, so does the fuel pressure on a 1-to-1 ratio. So when you get into boost, let's say my base is supposed to be 43, but with the vacuum line hooked up, it's like 48, whatever. So 48 pounds of fuel pressure plus 1 pound of boost, it should go up. So it does start to go up, and we're at almost 6 pounds of boost and 58 pounds of fuel pressure, and it does start going up, but then look at it, it just starts dropping like a rock. 44, 43, 41. So fuel pressure's going down. Huge red flag right there. And what that was is, I'll show you guys, hold on. What that was for some reason, and this type of shit happens, I don't know why, but these are my two fuel pumps. The 20 ampere is the single fuel pump that Holly runs, so I run on a regular fuel pump. I have 3 fuel pumps in this car. So it's a 255, and that's what you use for cruising around. And then when you get into boost, secondary fuel pumps kick on with this Hobbs switch here. It's adjustable. I have it on 2 pounds of boost, so 2 pounds of boost is supposed to kick on these secondary pumps. This is a 40 amp fuse right here, because each pump is like 15 amps. So to be safe, I put a 40 amp fuse in there. For some reason, there was a 20 amp fuse in here, and it popped, and my secondary fuel pumps didn't kick on. So that's what happened there, and it could have been disastrous. I'll show you guys what I mean. Basically, we're at 23 pounds of fuel pressure and 16 pounds of boost. And look at the closed loop compensation. It's throwing everything it got at it. 91%. You keep scrolling. 100% closed loop compensation. It's throwing everything it can to try and keep the AFR target 11.8. Look at what it hit, 15.2. That's insane. That would have, if this motor was stock bottom end, stock pistons, they'd be at the bottom of the pan right now. You know, a lot of guys, they do a lot of things with the stock bottom end, but like stupid shit like this, something will happen, and you know, you got, you know, pistons at the bottom of the pan, or at the very least a broken ringland, melted piston, what have you. But the other thing I'm noticing, so I was really lucky with that. I don't think the motor's hurt at all. Seems fine. Some would say, oh, you should do a compression test, yada yada. But it wasn't. It was only 5,000 RPM. It was like a split second that it hit that high. And the other thing I'm noticing too is if you look at the boost down here, 16.4 psi. That's wait, look, 17, 18. It hit 18, almost 19 pounds of boost with a 15.5 air-fuel ratio. That's crazy. Again, built motor. That's why it survived. Forged pistons. Yeah, it's that would have killed any stock motor, I think. So, what happened there? I think what happened there is, I'll try and show you guys, but okay, I think what happened there, it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but you see this little copper line right there? That is my wastegate reference. That goes to the bottom of the wastegate down there. You can see the fitting there. But what I think happened, and I noticed it was slightly kinked. And if that reference line is closed off, then boost is just going to run out of control. Like, the way that works is you get boost pressure from a vacuum source, and it pushes up on the bottom of the wastegate, and it pushes on the diaphragm, which opens the valve and is supposed to bleed off boost pressure. Well, it bleeds off exhaust pressure to the turbine, which in turn slows the compressor and controls boost. So that's what I think happened there. So I bought some goodies. I got some goodies here, and basically this is just an oil feed line. And the reason why I run copper over there is because it's extremely high temperatures. You can't even see it down on this side. It's a pain. But yeah, so I run a piece of copper on there, but my fear is that it's kinked. I'm going to take it off and look, and I'm going to replace it with this bad guy. And I got some fittings to do that. I can put a 45 on it, possibly, on the wastegate, and then I'm going to screw this guy on, and then it'll go to hose, and then go to that plastic line. I ordered a fitting so I can screw right on the end of this one of those push lock fittings. So yeah, I won't have a piece of hose being janky with, you know, clamps on it or whatever. Those push lock fittings work pretty good. You got to be careful. You got to get the good brand stuff. Like, they sell cheap stuff that melts. Like, this is like official, like high temp, high pressure. They use it on like air brake lines for trucks and stuff, so it's got to be reliable. It's got to be good to stop a big tractor trailer. So that's my plan for today. I'm gonna swap that line, take it for a ride, and keep an eye on the boost. I did do another pull after I changed the fuse, and fuel pumps were kicking on. Air fuel ratio was better. I'll show you guys that data log quick. Okay, here's the second data log. I did just a quick second gear pull just to see what was going on here, and let's scroll and see what happened. Fuel pressure is 52, 2,000 RPM, 3,000 RPM, 60 psi. It's going up, stayed up. 64, 65, 68. So yeah, wow, yeah, I hit almost, geez, 6,900 RPM. So yeah, this time it did a lot better. Yeah, the fuel pressure didn't drop. Look at the closed loop pulling 16%. There's way too much fuel in there. Matt, I sent my file to Matt, and he threw some more fuel at it just to be safe. I was a little concerned, like one of the small pulls I did, and the air fuel ratio was the target was 11.8 or something, and I was seeing 12. So he just splashed a little more fuel at it. But it looks like the closed loop's doing its thing. It's pulling fuel to try and achieve this target AFR. 13.5 pounds of boost. I did see a little creep on this one as well. Second gear, it spun. See, why did it go in an open loop there? That's weird. See how it says open loop? Why the hell is it going in an open loop? That's strange to me. But yeah, it hit 16 pounds, which it shouldn't be. I have a 14-pound spring in there, and I guess it could creep a little bit. But yeah, that's weird why it went into open loop there. Why did it go to open loop? That's interesting. I'll have to talk to Matt about that. Alright, yeah, and I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Let me find it. Okay, this is the fuel pressure safety. There's fuel pressure safety. There's, what's this one? Oil pressure safety. Flex percentage. That was me trying to get the, that's nothing. Yeah, I don't know what these are. But so fuel pressure safety and oil pressure safety. So it's a timing offset, which I set that up. So basically it's going to pull timing. Before it was a dwell offset. Like you can click this and change what you want it to do. And I think before it was a dwell time offset, which I'm guessing that's a spark cut. I have to research it. I'm new at this. Bear with me. I know some of you guys are probably screaming at your screen. But so for now I did a timing offset. Oh no, what'd you do? Go back. Shoot. How do I undo? Hold on. Let me see here. Okay. Again, I'm new at this. I just closed the tune and opened it back up, and it's still there. So I did save it. I try to make a copy of every tune I do. But anyway, what I was saying was this is a timing offset based off of fuel pressure and boost. So if you look on this right corner over here, let's say we hit 20 pounds of boost and 57 pounds of fuel pressure. So if that ever happens, it's going to pull 10 degrees and basically try to save it. I mean, I could probably adjust these and move it closer, but even at that point, 57 fuel pressure would be dropping, because you figure I'm at 43 base pressure plus 20 pounds of boost, should be at 60 some pounds of fuel pressure. So this might be a little oversensitive, I guess, but again, I don't know. I have to do my research, but at this point it looks to me like if fuel pressure, that if you're at 18 pounds of boost and 57 pounds of fuel pressure, see, that might be too much already. What's 18 plus 43? Yeah, so I might have to tweak this a little bit, but yeah, so this, if fuel pressure gets out of whack, it's going to start pulling timing 10 degrees. And same thing for the oil pressure. I didn't have this set up before, and now I'm going to do some research and try and get it set up right. I mean, I have this stuff in here built in, so you might as well use it. Same thing, timing offset, RPM, and oil pressure. So again, I have it set up to pull timing basically. So this thing has crazy fuel pressure with this oil pump in it. But if it ever gets, if it ever goes down, let's say, if it ever goes down to 40 pounds of oil pressure at, what do we got here, 6,900 RPM, it's going to pull 10 degrees. It'll never go that low. I think it hit like 80 on the data log. But if it does go that low, then you clearly have a problem, and it's good to, this will shut the engine down, or at least pull power, and you'll feel it and let off like, whoa, what the hell was that? But yeah, I want to do my research on this and get these tables set up better. maybe it's better to do the dwell offset. Yeah, I want to do some research and set these up right. But for now, it's going to pull 10 degrees of timing if any of these get out of whack. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do there. All right, now let me get over and I'm going to change that wastegate line and take it for a ride. Okay, so here's the wastegate line, and it's all mangled up, but admittedly I don't think it was that bad initially. Like when I went to loosen this fitting, the fitting that it attached to was NPT, and that started turning, so the whole thing was turning and I didn't notice, so I kind of fucked it up removing it. But yeah, I'm gonna put this bad boy on here and route it so it's not rubbing anything. It's tight down there. The other thing I want to do is, this is my fuse block. I mean, not fuse block, vacuum block. And I used to have that underneath the throttle body, like down in here. But now that we're running the turbo brace, it kind of doesn't fit there anymore. So I'm thinking maybe I'll mount it on the firewall or something. The reason being is you got so many vacuum lines. I got everything like teed off right now. You got T there, and you know, it goes to a vacuum source on the intake, I think on the back here. But these are the boost controller lines here. Once I hook them up, you need more T's, and it's just not the best way to do things. So I'll probably incorporate that the vacuum block again, maybe mount it on the firewall, because what I plan on doing is I plan on getting a MAC valve for electronic boost control, and I'll probably mount that here, and I'll have the fuse block, I keep saying fuse block, vacuum block there, run the lines too, because you'll have 3 lines there and a vent. So yeah, it gets busy real quick with the vacuum stuff. So, but for now, I just want to hook it up on wastegate and then see if the boost creep problem went away. So yeah, I'm gonna put that on. Okay, so I got the wastegate line hooked up. It ended up being too long. I had to snake it around there, and then yeah, I have to have a dumb hose nipple to that. Like I said, I have a fitting coming that will one of these push locks will screw right in here, and then I'm thinking about, you know, doing the vacuum block, and so I'll probably reroute this line, like maybe on this side back there, and give it its own line. I don't like teeing everything off like that. It just diminishes the vacuum signal, the more T's you have on it. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna take it for a ride, see what happens. Alright, we are cruising. Got the data log set up, and we'll see how she does. Try and keep an eye on the boost. I do have the fuel pressure safety set up. That seemed okay too. I messed with the boost pressure safety. I think that's set up as well. I think I have it set at like 18 pounds. If it goes there, it's gonna pull timing, cut spark. I think I have it set to cut spark. So let's see how it does. Data log and see what happened. Yeah, something happened. It might have cut spark, or because I didn't let off. It felt a lot. It felt great. It felt really strong, actually. 14 pounds. But I was glancing at my boost gauge, and I thought I saw it hit like 12, 13. Okay, so here we are, and as I suspected, the boost went up and it cut out. That's good. That's what it's supposed to do. I'm happy about that. But again, here we are. I usually go by the throttle position. It's the green one, and you can see it start ramping up. So I'll start there, and then start scrolling over. And what do we got here? 25% throttle, 93% throttle, 100% throttle, 99. It's kind of bouncing off 99. 100% throttle. Okay, we got 71 pounds of fuel pressure. That's good. Closed loop compensation is pulling 17% of fuel. Target AFR is 11.8. Actual was 11.9. Crazy oil pressure. This is a high volume, high oil pressure, high pressure pump. It's pretty normal when you're idling, but when you get on it, the oil pressure really goes up. I do have the oil restrictor on there. That's probably why it was blowing oil past my turbo. But ignition timing 13.6 degrees. Yada yada. Duty cycle is only 38%. Yeah, these injectors are monsters. The 210s, even on 1,000 horsepower, it was like 60% duty cycle. All right, intake temp was 63, flex fuel 70%, and here's the boost, 15. Again, I have a 14-pound spring in here. See, it was kind of jumps up. 14, 15, 17. That's not good. It shouldn't be going that high. 16, 17, hit 18. Ignition timing 13 degrees. 14. Why did it cut? See, I think I had the cut to set. Oh, cut ignition. That's what. But it didn't. Why doesn't it show? That's interesting. $11.8. Yeah. So yeah. Long story short, I got a boost creep issue. My next step is I'm going to take that gate off, make sure it's working right. Sometimes it gets stuck. The car did sit for months. So maybe the gate is stuck. But yeah, that's not good. It shouldn't be hitting that high a boost. It's only a 14-pound spring in there. I mean, this time it was safe. It was safe, 5,600 RPM. 11.8 AFR, 11.4, so it was safe. The Holley's doing its thing and closed looping. But yeah, the other thing I could do too is just turn off the safety and let it run away. But I gotta pull that gate and make sure it's not stuck or something. Sometimes if the car sat for a while and if you had any kind of moisture in there, it's stainless steel, but who knows? Maybe the gate's stuck. But yeah, the other thing I want to check is make sure the wastegate line didn't actually fall off. Okay, got the wastegate off. And how you test this is pretty simple. This is the reference line. So what you do is you just put air pressure in here and see if the valve opens. Best way to do it is set up a regulator and so you're regulating the air pressure going in here, and I have a 14-pound spring in here, so it should start opening at around 14 pounds. And if it doesn't, then maybe we need to unstick it. Maybe it's stuck. And so yeah, I'm gonna go over to my brother's house and rig this up so we can test it. The other thing I might do while I'm there is change the spring in here and go with like a 5-pound spring. Because what I want to do if it's possible, if it's not a creep issue, is set up the electronic boost controller, get a 4-port Mac valve, and then in theory, I should be able to have everywhere from the wastegate spring, which if I put a 5-pound spring in there, everywhere from 5 pounds, and then manipulate it as high as 20 or 30, and then the plan is to incorporate the boost control strategy with mile per hour or boost by gear, so it gives you a certain amount of boost depending on how fast you're going. Basically, because in this car, first, second, and third is just useless, at full boost. So you could, first gear 5 pounds, second gear 10 pounds, third gear 15, fourth gear full boost, stuff like that to help get some traction, So yeah, that's my plan. I'm gonna go test this thing out, and I'll get back with you. Okay, I got the wastegate back on. I took it over to my brother's house. We tested it. It was opening at like 17, 18 pounds. I really don't have an answer why it's that high. I checked the springs. I had the yellow spring and the green spring, and according to the instructions on the Precision wastegate box, I still have the box and all the springs it came with, is supposed to be around 14 pounds, but it's opening at like 17 pounds, so that makes sense. Yeah, I could have swore I had a 14-pound spring in there. I didn't think I had it that high. So I swapped the spring, put a 6-pound spring in there, and yeah, I'm gonna take it for a ride now. I got it all hooked up. I got the line hooked up. Yeah, I really gotta. You want this almost by itself. Like, teeing off all this other crap is really not ideal. Like I said, every vacuum source you tee off of, it diminishes the signal. So maybe that's why it was going that high. I don't know. Anyway, I got a 6-pound spring in there, and let's take it for a ride and see what kind of boost it gives now. Okay, so we definitely have a creep issue. Let's scroll through here. Started getting into it. 100% throttle. There's the boost, 0.2, 4, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 6 pounds at 4,000 RPM. And it should level off there, but as you'll see, 7, 8, 9. It really starts running away. High RPMs. 10, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, hit 16 pounds of boost with a 6-pound spring in there. Man, that sucks. Boost control might be impossible. There's a couple things I can try, I think. I could put the wastegate on its own source, separate from everything else, see if that helps. The other thing I could maybe do is, I have the wastegate recirculating back into the downpipe. So if I take that off, it might help. Just have it dump into the atmosphere instead of recirculating back into the downpipe. This motor is higher compression, so maybe that's what's causing it. A bigger gate would definitely help. A bigger turbine would probably help, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of sucks. I mean, as long as it's safe, it's one thing, I guess, you know. But this is just third gear. I don't know what it's going to do in fourth gear. If you got enough fuel and everything and it doesn't peak out at a crazy boost number, you can just throw fuel at it and let it creep. But yeah, this kind of sucks, man. I don't know. Yeah, let me think this over. I'm gonna pop the hood, check everything out, make sure everything's all right. But yeah, man, fucking 16 pounds of boost, 6,600 RPM, with a 6-pound spring in there. Closed loop is pulling a bunch of fuel. Fuel pressure's high, 70%, 70 psi. Crazy oil pressure, 86. I saw some oil under there on the turbo, so maybe that restrictor has fixed that problem. I'll have to look under again and see if the oil's there. If the oil's still there, then I gotta get an even smaller restrictor. I think this one is 75 thousandths or something. But yeah, let me pop the hood and look everything over. Alright, so I looked over the engine bay. Everything looks alright. Nothing leaking. Yeah, I feel a little defeated. Kind of sucks, man. I'm gonna try get the wastegate on its own source. I honestly don't think that's gonna help. Really, the only real solution is a bigger gate or another gate, two gates. Really wasn't a problem with my other motor. I think mainly because it was lower compression, less exhaust volume. Or maybe I'm wrong and it is just dogs. Maybe I'm wrong and it is just because it needs its own source. We'll see. If you take anything from this video, start with the small spring. If you got a new turbo setup, start with the small spring. It's just safer, better, easier. And I don't know. I'll talk to you guys soon.